What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Cosmic Wonder. I'm your host, Warren Thompson, and it looks like Sony and Marvel Studios could be up to something right now. As the latest reports and rumors say, that Disney/Marvel Studios, because Disney owns Marvel Studios, and Sony are on the verge of a brand new SpiderMan deal. Now, what's really interesting is that none of us really know the details of what went on and what was included or not included in the last deal that Sony and Disney/Marvel Studios made. However, there have been rumors and reports that the deal was only for 3 movies, or at least the contract only lasted until Spider-Man No Way Home. And considering that was the finale of a trilogy, that does make sense. However, we do know that Marvel and Sony do want to do more Spider-Man movies. In fact, Kevin Feige, the president of Marvel Studios, and Amy Pascal, an executive producer over at Sony, did confirm after No Way Home came out, right after No Way Home came out, they confirmed that they are already working on a Spider-Man 4. And now it seems like it's apparently far enough along the lines to start getting a deal done for the movies, and specifically for Tom Holland after the deal for the movies and Spider-Man as a character is made. But this deal is also going to involve the Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars, which Spider-Man should be appearing in both of them. Now, before people start to get worried, because the last time they renegotiated a Spider-Man deal in the MCU, it got pretty scary. We almost didn't have Spider-Man in the MCU anymore. For a while, Sony and Marvel Studios could not work out a deal, and it looked like we were going to permanently lose Spider-Man. However, since then, since that deal was made, Spider-Man has done wonders in the box office in the MCU, and all of the reports state that Marvel Studios and Sony are working extremely well with each other right now. In fact, even in Sony's Spider-Man verse, Sony consults with Kevin Feige for each Spider-Man related project, even though that project is not going to be in the MCU. However, with a new Spider-Man deal coming into play now, perhaps some of the two universes might blend just a little bit. Because if everything that we've been hearing about Sony's Spider-Verse is true, they are definitely going to want Tom Holland's Spider-Man in their universe at least once or twice in the universe that they are building. They seemingly are building up to a Spider-Geddon film, which is basically a Secret Wars, a big multiverse collision of a ton of different Spider-Man variants. So imagine seeing about 20 to 40 Spider-Man variants on the same screen, all fighting together, and possibly against each other. That's what Sony could have up their sleeve for their Sony Spider-Man universe. But first, let's talk about this deal between Sony and Marvel Studios and what Marvel Studios has planned for Spider-Man in the MCU. Now, we've known for a little bit that Sony and Marvel Studios/Disney are going to be making a new deal, but according to a new report from Grace Randolph yesterday, she says it seems Disney and Sony are close to new Spider-Man deal. They sign, then can work on Tom Holland's deal. Hashtag Spider-Man 4, and likely both Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars. Now let me just explain one line in her tweet here. She says they sign, then can work on Tom Holland's deal. Now, when she says they sign, at first she is talking about the actual character Spider-Man. The deal isn't specifically talking about Tom Holland's Spider-Man at first, it's just simply talking about keeping Spider-Man in the MCU since Sony does own the rights for Spider-Man on screen. So basically what they have to work out is what's the cut? How much is Sony gonna make? How much is Marvel gonna make? And the good news is this has pretty much been worked out already. This is what the last big deal was about when we almost lost Spider-Man in the MCU. Marvel wanted more because Spider-Man Homecoming was the first Spider-Man movie to hit $1 billion. And yes, Spider-Man is popular, but this was also due to the fact that Spider-Man was in the MCU, he interacted with the Avengers in Captain America Civil War, and Tony Stark was in Homecoming. So Marvel Studios had a big part to play in that $1 billion movie. So naturally, given the success, they wanted a little bit more of a cut. Like I said, they worked that out already and figured out something that works for both of them, so we're in the clear on that. What they have to work out now is how many movies is Spider-Man going to be in moving forward? What is this next deal going to be for? Are they going to do a new Spider-Man trilogy? And what team-up movies is Spider-Man going to appear in? Grace specifically mentioned Spider-Man 4, the Kang Dynasty, and Avengers Secret Wars. We obviously have to have Spider-Man 4 before the Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars comes out, because there is a lot left unanswered about Spider-Man. Is anybody going to remember who Peter Parker is? Is the spell going to be undone? Is he finally going to talk to Ned and MJ? Is Ned going to become a villain? Is Spider-Gwen going to come into the picture? Is Miles Morales going to be introduced? There's so much to address in the next Spider-Man movie. So Spider-Man 4 is the first thing that needs to happen, and according to the latest reports, Spider-Man 4 could be releasing on June 7th of 2024, which means we probably are not going to be getting Spider-Man 5 or 6 before the Kang Dynasty or Secret Wars. They would come after. And this also sets something else up. We'll talk about that in just a bit, but first, big thank you to Wondery and the Lords of the Ring podcast for sponsoring this video. Now, I know a lot of you, like me, have watched The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power on Amazon. It's amazing, I loved it, and since you're on my channel right now, you probably love to dive even deeper than just watching the show. And now you can go deeper into the canals of Numenor, the mines of Khazad-dûm, and more with the official The Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power podcast. Host Felicia Day, who many people probably know, and several special guests provide an inside look at the groundbreaking series and what it took to bring Middle-earth to life. Each episode of the official podcast features exclusive interviews with the series showrunner DJ Payne and Patrick McKay, including the very first full breakdown of the incredible season finale. Felicia also goes behind the scenes with the cast and crew to bring you jaw-dropping stories and Easter eggs you won't want to miss. Watch The Rings of Power on Prime Video and listen to all 8 episodes of the official The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power podcast for free on Amazon Music. Download the Amazon Music app right now to listen to The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power podcast. The reason that it's a big deal that the Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars would come before Spider-Man 5 and Spider-Man 6 is because of the Venom symbiote. The post-credit scene for Spider-Man No Way Home set up Venom in the MCU. Not the same Venom from the Sony universe, not Tom Hardy's Venom, sadly, but the Venom symbiote. And the latest rumor is that Tom Holland is not going to be getting this symbiote until after Secret Wars to keep to a comic-accurate story, because in the comics, the first time that Spider-Man ever wears the black Venom symbiote suit is during Secret Wars. So I'm all for this because I do like to see comic accurate stories play out in the MCU. Also, not to mention in Sony's new SpiderMan deal, they could also make a deal for Tom Hardy's Venom to show up in Secret Wars. We know that there are going to be many different variants of many different characters in this movie. Universes are going to be colliding, so why not have Tom Hardy's Venom in there, even if it's just for a quick little cameo? Now, Doctor Strange and Wong seem to know about the whole Spider-Man debacle. Both seem to know about the spell gone wrong. It's unclear whether they know Peter Parker is Spider-Man or not, but they do know about the Spider-Man spell. And people still do know about Spider-Man, so regardless of whether or not the spell is reversed or people find out who Peter Parker really is, aka Spider-Man, he is going to be involved in the next Avengers film, which is the Kang Dynasty. That is being written right now, so it would make sense that the new deal for Spider-Man would have to get done right now. So the fact that it's close to being done is good news, because you can't have an Avengers film at this point in time without Spider-Man. He's one of the only characters left from the Infinity Saga that we still have in the Multiverse Saga. We need those old characters to remain, and plus the Kang Dynasty is going to lead right into Secret Wars, and since we know he's going to be in Secret Wars, it only makes sense for him to be in the Kang Dynasty. And then, like I said, hopefully we get a Spider-Man 5 and a Spider-Man 6 in Phase 6 and Phase 7 and beyond. And hopefully this is when Marvel Studios will start to introduce other Spider-Man characters into the MCU, like Miles Morales, like they teased in Spider-Man No Way Home, talking about there's got to be a black Spider-Man out there somewhere. So this is great news. We don't have to worry about Spider-Man going anywhere. Sony and Marvel Studios are working out a new deal right now to get Spider-Man back in the MCU. So let me know how excited you are about this in the comments down below, and let me know what storylines you'd like to see in the MCU for Spider-Man in the comments as well. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the latest Spider-Man news. For live updates, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.